Hello friends, Assalamu alaikum, Namaste, Vanakkam, Sasrikal, Kamanachi, Kemcho, Majama. I hope all of you guys are doing well. Today is Friday finally. I think all of us are quite happy when Friday comes. And I think in the last few years, it's a different story for everyone. Whoever, maybe it may be from a CEO level, even to a junior level, people are really stressed out, burned out the way things are happening post-COVID. So I think everybody looks for Friday, and it's a relief for everyone the way things foil up every day from Monday to Friday. And maybe there are offices who function on Saturdays also. And yes, I don't know about Sundays, but yes, I mean that's another paradigm shift, I would say, post-COVID. I mean, yes, Sundays were one of the most exhaustive days, which we had to work, especially service industries when they were hit by COVID. So yeah, it's long story short, but yes, we have to survive in this world. So today's main topic, I would give my experience on the global supply chains. Who will be able to survive, or how do you survive in today's context? I think we all have seen post-COVID, how the global supply chains were really fragmented. With COVID coming in, disrupting a lot of manufacturing factories. Your offices are being shut. You had no carriers accepting bookings because of the no availability of flight. So these are the way we have overcome all these situations. And now today's era is quite different. The way war has escalated, and we still want to move freight, but yes, the carriers are not able to pass through the critical key passage, the Strait of Hormuz, and this has really escalated your freight cost. So every year on year, 40% of our freight costs are being short. It's a narrative which people on the senior leadership, the financial advisors to the companies, they have started looking after COVID. I mean, I think before COVID nobody knew how freight forwarding industry, what logistics was, what supply chain was all about. Everything used to come on time, very minimal delays, and the way carriers used to bring your freight, everybody used to receive the products on time. Whether you could talk about your grocery stores, your big supermarkets, your Walmart, your Costco, you have anywhere, if you say. And then when COVID came, everything was broken down, and people started feeling the pinch. The companies, we ourselves as consumers, we used to see why prices are raising high, why there are no commodities left in the shelves, and everything was depleting, and there is no replacement. So yes, ships were taking time because there was a lot of no people available, and then because of COVID nobody was allowed to travel. So that was a different trend, and we all knew that. Now today's in today's topic, how do companies survive? We have learned this from COVID, but again, there is a lot of uncertainty which is happening every year. Again, nobody would have expected, as I mentioned in my last two videos, the war coming up. So how do we go ahead? How do we survive? And also this is for everybody, even whoever are expert, whoever have come to that experience, to that senior level, they have experience, whoever has crossed, somebody has become a board of directors in the company's board. Everybody should understand, the global supply chains are now, or the supply chain disruptions are normal. Its volatility is, I would say, it's a temporary disruption. We are entering into a structural condition where we really need to be resilient in these times. You just cannot think about cost. Supply chain are not about cost now. It's about resilience. We need to understand that. Gone are those days. You rely on cost, and you used to get ships on time. But now that's not the case. So there are a lot of geopolitical events, the war. You have your climate changes where you see a lot of rains, and you have your weather conditions are really affecting your ports globally. We have seen So in different countries, you talk about US, you talk about Europe. In the last few months, the entire rail infrastructure, the road, I mean, they were difficult to transport the freight, from different European countries. So those all add bottlenecks to your entire shipping process. So that's why you receive late, that the freight comes in very late. Now, companies who are able to adapt to the new quick changes, you need to take, you need to have your own alternatives. You just cannot rely on today's one supplier. I think all of us have been really instrumental in finding out new suppliers, checking out which products they can manufacture. Is that an alternative for the existing one, and how is the price? How's the price variation? So there are certain aspects which you will have to you cannot rely on one particular supplier, but yes, you will have to source out other suppliers. This is one of the strategies you need to look into for your supply chains. Second thing, you will also have to see what are the different routes, how you could try to bypass, the current route which is closed, the Strait of Hormuz. And before this, I mean, Strait of Hormuz is just 2 months now because of this war. Even the Red Sea, which I also mentioned in the last few videos, that's one of the, I would say 10%, 5-10% of the global trade passes through Red Sea. So it's basically what happens is from Asia to Europe generally, the nautical miles is around 10,000 nautical miles from Asia to Europe. It goes via Red Sea, it passes towards your Suez Canal, and then it goes through the European countries. So it touches Red Sea, which is Egypt, which is the African country on the border, and then Suez Canal, and then it goes to the Europe and other countries. So now, due to the Hamas and the Israel conflict in early 2024, that Red Sea was totally shut down, and now it's almost 2 years, and this is the third year we're entering. And because of that, the new route, if you see, we are taking via South Africa. That's called, the tip is called Cape of Good Hope. So now it's 13,500 nautical miles. So imagine that much of kilometers our products have to go or have to get routed via this route. So it's a new cost, it's a new freight cost. Steamships are burning more fuel, so you will be also paying, as if the oil goes high, unfortunately you also have to pay for the fuel cost. So these are all the cyclical effects, which many people in the industry did not know. I mean, yeah, I'm from the logistics industry, I've worked for manufacturing companies, but yes, we are all aware on what situations or what are the key factors, that affects the entire global supply chain, the entire chain of global supply chain. So that's how, your average transit time from Asia to Europe, 25 days, 28 days, 30 days, and now it is increased to additional 10 to 15 days. So for every trade lane, whether you talk from Asia to North America or Asia to Latam, it depends on your routing and etc. So that's why we have to be really more proactive and look for different routes. If there is a delay in your ocean shipments, you have to really airlift few quantities. I mean, I would not say the entire shipment, but yes, airlift few quantities which are really critical for your customer deliveries. So because if that's not met, then you will lose your sales. And we often see, there is always more of a tussle between the sales, marketing, and as well as the supply chain, the logistics team, because the products don't come on time. So it's quite nuanced. Sales team, yeah, they have got their own targets to achieve. They have to drive the company's revenue, and at the end of the day, yeah, everybody is also paid incentive for how much kind of targets they're able to achieve for the company. And yeah, ultimately, your balance sheet looks good, and that's what the CEO and everybody expects, from the employees. So that perspective, is totally changing now. Everybody needs to understand that we really need to have very good infrastructure in our place. I would talk about, as I mentioned, apart from your suppliers, strategic way of finding suppliers, you also need to build inventory. We say inventory is cost. I don't think that's really today's way of thinking. It's an insurance. You need to build 30 days or 60 days of inventory so that you're safe in case your products come late. You need to have another products or another bunch of products ready to be dispatched to the customer or dispatched to your distributors or warehouses, etc., wherever. So this is really Now, very key important aspect where you need to build your buffer stock. So you have to have a control. You have to build your IT systems, your digital systems, where you should have a common control tower where you are able to monitor your shipments. You need to bring in third party TMS, which is transport management solutions, or you should be able to hire or build an in-house IT team where you could try to build an AI kind of models where you could collaborate, or where you could link your SAPs or the ERPs into your day-to-day data, where how much quantity of your product, your part number, your quantities are being ordered with the suppliers, how much is left, how much you're having in the inventory, and how much is in pipe, and how much it's coming in the sea or in air. So this is a control tower which you need to set. You need to have, you need to monitor it, and then you will be easily available, or I would say the data is available to you, and you are able to access and take decisions. What could be done even you are having this kind of geopolitical escalations, whether it's about the routes getting jammed, or there is a climate problems in your supplier's place, or there are different factors. So this is one thing, and also as we have seen in the last 2 months, I have personally seen, because I'm part of the company where I'm working, and we are supporting the Middle East team. So now carriers were not accepting bookings to UAE, Saudi in the last 1.5 months because of the missiles striking all the Middle East countries, and shipments had to be terminated at Saudi, especially at Jeddah. So the shipments which were getting booked to Dammam were cancelled, to Jebel Ali were cancelled. Shipments are not even going to Oman, the ports of Salalah, the ports of Sohar. So those are all getting affected, and carriers started terminating shipments at very small dry ports. You must have not even heard about port of Fujairah, which is in UAE. You have port Khor Al Fakhan again, which is in the UAE, and carriers used to terminate those shipments over there, and then they used to use the land trucking to deliver to your warehouses, your customers' place in Jebel Ali, or in Dammam, or in Qatar. Even ships are not going to Qatar, so Hamad port. So all these disruptions were taking time, and the costs have increased. This really affects your entire supply chain process. So that's why you would see the sales team, are after you, because they are answering the customers. And yes, and I have seen it personally. But yes, this is the latest trend. So I think what I would say is, in today's context, supply chain disruption is no more a temporary exception. It is more of an structural condition, which I emphasized. So we really need to be resilient in today's environment. Companies, if they can learn, they survive. If they cannot, they disappear. So that's the bottom line, I would say. Now, even as per different reports, we have heard the CEOs of many companies, they are also being very stressed out because they have to answer the board. And as per the Marsh report, this year, Marsh is one of the global insurance companies. They offer the global insurance to the manufacturing, the company's shipments, and they said 65% of global companies are still facing the supply chain bottlenecks. Any whether it's climate conditions, or whether it's the geopolitical war, and etc. So this is narrative what we have seen. As for McKinsey, we have 82% of companies were really bothered by the way of trade disruptions which we saw last year because of the Trump administration, which implemented tariffs of 25, 50, 100, 120, 200% for countries like China, India, and then you also had Europe. So all these have disrupted the entire global trade. And yes, tariffs which is one of the most important cost which any importing countries they have to pay. While importing, they have freight from different suppliers, and this cost is passed to the customer, who is paying and who is selling to their customers, they have retail stores, and etc. So that's why the entire cost is blown up, inflation goes, and then just you cannot do anything. So that's another thing. And also 70% of CEOs, they also have mentioned, that they have been really stressed out with the high levels of disruption. There's a disruption index which you see, where the CEOs are able to, it's derived by calculating the number and the amount of disruptive forces in a year, and how powerful they are. So that's one of the disruption index. I think many of the senior leadership and the C-suite level people are aware, and that's how they face a lot of challenges. So yeah, this is what I'm trying to bring out. Today's main key topic is who wins the supply chain crisis at this point of time. And yes, as I mentioned, we really need to be adaptive. We need to be resilient in today's supply chain. We just cannot think about cost, but yes, there is a shift in today's supply chain. So I hope all of you are are really doing a lot of innovative strategies, or creating innovative strategies for your own companies. I know it's not so easy for the CEO and the entire his army, whether the presidents, the vice presidents, the directors. It drills down to every hierarchy, and then it comes down to middle managers, and then your employee, the junior employee. So everybody's, as I mentioned, so everybody looks out for a final weekend where they could go out with their friends, they could spend a time with the family, or they have some other purchasing. So it's really everybody is still in chaos. We cannot predict what is going to happen tomorrow. So yes, these are all the events which we really need to be ready, and this is a new norm, I would say, and everybody knows it, and we really need to be adaptive. There is no solution, but yes, we need to be adaptive, flexible, and try to keep calm, and we need to be optimistic that things should settle down. And yes, this is the my final views. And yes, I would be happy if I can hear your comments. You could drop down your recommendations, your suggestions in my YouTube channel at M1M I'll be free to comment and take whichever topics you want, and this gives me a privilege also to interact with all of you in the industry. So take care, stay safe, and have a nice weekend. Thank you.